Hey there, this is Heather Quistapachi with writing tip number 2. So a lot of people ask me how I come up with a plot and just make an outline for it. And I think it's really important to have a strategy and to know how your story is going to turn out. And you know, some people say that they don't think about that, they just start writing and it works itself out. I'm not an impromptu person at all. I don't think a lot of people are impromptu people, and I honestly think it's not very wise to just start writing and without any forethought, because everything that has value has been thought out, and it takes a lot of planning and just working through all the kinks, because there's lots of kinks with books and lots of bad ideas that quickly get thrown away and eventually you find the right idea. So I'm going to tell you what I use as a tool to come up with my plot, and it's just what I do. Works for me, may not work for you. Give it a shot, see if you like it. If you don't, cool. If you do, cool. Just my advice. So get your moment of inspiration that we talked about in the last video. Keep it in front of you right here so you don't forget it. And so next you need to write out a very bare bone outline of your story. And I like examples, so we're going to use Titanic for an example. And so that story's inspiration is what would happen if two people fall in love in the middle of the death and chaos of the Titanic sinking. It's a pretty cool idea. And so to start out the bare bone plot for the Titanic, you start with, okay, should we have the ship sink at the beginning or the end of the story? Well, naturally, let's have it at the end, because you can't have everybody dying at the beginning. That's just a poor way to start. All right, so we got our ending. We got the climax. Ship's going to sink. Everybody's going to die. Most people. So, all right, so the first part, people fall in love. It's pretty good. All right, that's cool. Love, and then a bunch of death and climax at the end. Well, we got to have some middle climax, because plots need to look like this. It needs to gradually rise up with a few climatic little pieces, and then this huge climax, which is the buildup of everything, and then it quickly drops off because it's the end of the story with all everything wrapped up. So the little climaxes before the ship sinks, let's thinking about love, and a very common theme with love stories is that some force doesn't want the two people to be in love. So they try to stop it. All right, so let's have some opposition. There's our climax, our little climax in there. Let's have some other force not wanting them to be together. Okay, so we got our bare bone outline. People fall in love, a little bit of climax about love, and then the ship sinks, people die, and then the end. Kind of. And so, bare bone outline. So next, what you need to do, if you want, this part's optional, is research. It's very important to create the authenticity of fictional writing, or any writing, for that matter. So you research about that time period, how people were back then, what was the dress style, what was the style, how did people treat everybody, what was mannerisms of everyone, what was the social ranking and social status, and what was important. And what that does is, you're not lying to your readers, but a book is a big lie pretty much. You're making up imaginary people, making up things that they do, and you want it to be believable and for readers to care for them, because who would really want to care about some imaginary person? But we do it all the time in movies and TV shows and books. It is a lie. But when you put a little truth in a lie, it doesn't seem like a lie. That's kind of what you're doing with researching. Get some truth, mix it in with the fantasy or whatever that you have going on, your awesome story, and it gives it that realistic side of it that will be easier to believe. Alright, so let's research about Titanic, that time period, everything. Alright, so go back to your bare bone outline. Let's put a little meat onto that thing. So let's go back to the beginning, and this is where it gets really fun, when I start to enjoy it, because you can actually start doing character development while you're developing a plot at the same time. Don't freak out. You don't need to multitask. I am the queen of failing at multitasking. I just suck at it. So if I can do it, you can do it. I know you can. I believe in you. So how you can do it at the same time is that characters carry the plot. Their actions and decisions are what the plot is. What they do is the plot. And at the same time, the characters follow out the course of the plot. So both the plot and the characters lean heavily on each other. So that's why it's very good to kind of be developing both of them at the same time. So we're going to put some meat on our bare bone outline. So let's start at the beginning again. Got two people in love. All right, who are these people? That's all you have to do with developing a plot. It's pretty simple. You just ask questions. You ask yourself a gazillion questions. Who are these people? Why are they in love? Why is it so cool? Why is this interesting? All right, let's make it interesting. Their names are Rose and Jack. And Rose is a higher class girl and Jack's pretty low. And that right there is huge character development. You got an upper class girl who's fallen for a lower class guy when all her life she's been taught that lower class people need to be looked down to and that they're servants and things. And then there's Rose who's fallen for this guy. And then you ask yourself, why? Why would she fall for him? Well, because she doesn't like the guys in her social circles. Well, why? More questions. Why doesn't she like him? Well, because she doesn't like the facade of such a hoity-toity society, and she wants a more realistic guy who's passionate about life and ready for an adventure, which is Jack. And so that shows her personality just by developing the plot. You see how it's going? It's really fun. And then it shows Jack's personality, that he's willing to stand up for a girl who's not in part of his world, that he's willing to be put down by her prissy, snotty family and fight for her and fight for the love that he has for her. And so start going through the plot being like, okay, this is who they are. Who's the opposition? Well, Rose's family, because they're both different people. Okay, so we got that part of the plot. And then what happens when the ship sinks? Well, Jack will stay with her and her family will just get dispersed and no one will stand by her, which shows how much he cares about her. Again, more character development. Shows he's a man of honor, shows that she needs him. And so you have more meat to your plot and it's starting to take shape and it's looking pretty good and you're feeling real good for yourself because you're doing a great job making a plot. And then you make it more meaty and stuff. And you go back to the beginning of the plot and I know you don't want to, but you need to go to the moments that define your story and really sink your teeth into it. Really figure out what makes this story great. And you could like write that scene, that specific scene. You can illustrate it. You could write its own little graph for it. You just go into it, personalize it, make it crisp and beautiful and clear, and just here and there, not every scene, just the scenes that really make a difference, the little climax parts. But you don't really need to know your whole plot. Leave a little wiggle room, because 6 months down the road when you're still writing, another inspiring moment can come along that you didn't see coming and your story will just boop, go off a different direction, which is totally cool. That's how art is. It's motion and fluid and cool, and that's the beauty of it. So when you have all that done and you have a meaty, nice, juicy plot, then you can start writing. And there's ways to begin your story that are intriguing and the proper ways to do it, which we'll talk about in the next video. So thank you guys. This is Heather Quistapachi. You can check out more on the link that I'll put down below, and have a great time making a plot. Happy writing. I do this every time.